and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Friday, July 25, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, Belize wins first ever gold in U23 Central American Women's Volleyball. Foreign Affairs Minister expresses concern about Guat naval vessel in Belizean waters. Fonseca admits government's rent expenditure is too high. And global health body urges steep sin tax. Belize to consult first. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Belize introduced its new electronic passport in 2022 through the launch of the Electronic Passport Issuance and Control System, EPICS. The e-passport includes an electronic chip that safeguards the holder's personal information and photograph. It also features a verification mechanism compatible with biometric systems such as smart gates at international borders. The passport's design reflects national pride, showcasing Belizean landmarks and symbols. It incorporates 26 modern security elements to prevent fraud and corruption. The introduction of the e-passport aims to enhance security, improve processing efficiency, and reduce application backlogs, benefiting Belizeans both domestically and abroad. The Ministry of Immigration, strengthening national sovereignty, security, and socio-economic development.
B-Box offers Benny's customers the opportunity to earn points on their purchases at any Benny's locations or its entities, such as Best Manufacturing, Benquip, Island Freight Forwarders, Benny's Contractor and Lumberyard, and B-Mart. To learn more, visit our website at www.bbox.bz. Remember, loyalty is always rewarding with B-Box. Brought to you by Benny's, quality and savings.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank. Building the future together.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done. said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
Measles is a virus that is highly infectious and spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. It often starts with a fever, cough, runny nose, and red, watery eyes, followed by a rash that spreads all over the body. Measles can cause serious complications. But here's the good news. Measles is preventable. The safest and most effective way to protect your child is through vaccination. The MMR vaccine is safe and available at your nearest health centers and clinics. Let's keep our families and communities safe. Get vaccinated. Stay protected. Brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness in partnership with PAHO and UNICEF.
Get ready for the Igbo Town Festival 2025. The National Celebrations Commission, in collaboration with the Belize City Council and the National Institute of Culture and History, invites you to the annual Igbo Town Festival 2025. Join us after the official Emancipation Day ceremony on Friday, August 1st at the Isaiah Mortar Square, Albert Street West, from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Bring out the entire family for a day filled with live entertainment, cultural displays and handicrafts, an educational emancipation tour, plenty of food and drinks, a free kids zone featuring face painting, cotton candy, snow cones, bouncy house and trampoline, and more. Want to be a part of the action? Secure your booth space today by calling 280-2308 extension 263 or message us on WhatsApp at 673-9055. So mark your calendars, Friday, August 1st from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the Isaiah Mortar Square. Let's celebrate freedom, culture, and community together. See you there.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. Belize is still savoring the historic victory Thursday night of the U23 national team in the Afekaval Central American Women's Volleyball Championship. The Belize City Civic Center was jam-packed as thousands of Belizeans went out to support Team Belize. As requested, it was mostly a sea of white in the bleachers as fans expressed their support for the national team wearing their white uniform. In the first match of the night, El Salvador faced off against Honduras, with Honduras winning in straight sets, giving them a third-place finish in the tournament. When it was the turn of consummate rivals Belize and Guatemala to take to the court as fans sat on the edge of their seats, Belizeans always come out when our players are facing Guatemalan teams, but Thursday night was super electric as Team Belize was undefeated. Belize came out swinging, crushing the first set 25-9 and sealing the second with a score of 25-15. The third set was the most dramatic, with the lead seesawing between both teams. Guatemala surged ahead in the final stretch and Belize could not close the gap. Guatemala took the set 21-25, but the fourth set proved decisive as Team Belize stormed to an early lead and never looked back, sealing the championship with a commanding 25-10 finish. Belizeans erupted in celebration as Nissan Martinez delivered the attack that scored the winning point. Players received individual awards at the end of the night, with Kaya Gordon named the MVP and the best attacker, and Nissan Martinez named best opposite. Alan Sharp, president of the Belize Volleyball Association, spoke about the team's performance.
How do you feel?
Exuberant, excited, happy. I can keep going. I don't want to sound bad, right? I have to say that was a great effort by Guatemala, but I think like last year, this team was dominant. This team, yes, we lost a set, but just like the night before against Honduras, when the girls were winning and it's a bit easy, sometimes you lapse in focus, and I think that's what happened in the third set. And then the coaches spoke to them and ready to rock and roll, and did a number in the final set, winning big. So like I said earlier today, this team is one of the best defensive female teams ever to play that I've seen. It definitely is the biggest overall in height. We were the biggest team in the competition. Our blocking and attacking was incredible. I already mentioned the defense. Serving, it was a wholesome, great effort by the coaches, great effort by the girls. They had to work really hard, and the hard work paid off. And goal again for Belize.
Sharp also explained how preparation makes a difference.
Both our male and female program have been doing well. The male program has been doing even better recently. Every time we go out now in male and female, everybody expects a medal, and for the most part, that's happening. And I think it's a program. It takes years to build that. It takes a lot of investment. I think volleyball has been very fortunate to have a personal, individual investment in the sport. That's made a massive difference. I must commend my executive and the BVA executive. I think we have a great group of people, from the referees, line judges, or volunteer scorers. It's a program that's come together. It's managed. We're very fortunate in this time. When certain times just tend to click and work together, we're doing that, but it's not all by accident. It took years to build this, right? Remember, we did not win our first medal in female. Well, not the first, but 2012, then 2013, then 2018, and that 2018 team was a team that was building for years. This team is basically the same team that won gold last year, and that's a team that's been together for years. So having that program to train, and the investment, there's a lot of personal investment, like I said, by different individuals. And so that makes a difference, having coaches, facility, players who are willing. If you don't have the players who are willing to commit, nothing's going to happen. So you have to have that culture of commitment as well.
He also hailed the individual performance of Kaya Gordon.
Kaya is deserving of all those awards. She right now is playing in a Division I school in the United States, in one of the hardest divisions in the United States. In fact, the hardest division in the United States. So she's going through some very intense training there as well. And she came here and showed that what she learned here in Belize, then went out there and showed great effort and learning, and came back and brought that energy, that positiveness, that just instinct to want to win, and so she showed it. She was very movement, excited, energy all the time, passing well, hitting well, serving well. She was doing it all, and she deserves all those awards.
Unfortunately, some fans who had gotten dressed and made their way to the Civic to show their support were unable to make it inside, as the match had sold out since 5 p.m. Despite their disappointment, many decided to wait outside in a show of solidarity. Here is what Sharp had to say on their dedication.
Tonight we sold out. We sold out from before 5 p.m. We had sold out the whole Civic. What can I say? It was full. And, there's a difference too of selling out and having support. And what you saw from our fans is Belize has the best fans. I can tell you, I've traveled many countries. Belize has the best fans, definitely in Central America. We make a difference on the court. We make a difference to the referee. We make a difference to the next team. And of course, we pipe up our team. No other country has that level of support that we have. And tonight, Civic Center was to the brim, right? Full till we still had people outside. Sorry we couldn't let them in, but hopefully we have more tournaments and next time buy tickets earlier. It was full. We look forward to more of this. We look forward to more fan support and supporting all sports, but this takes a lot of work.
As we have reported on Tuesday, a Guatemalan naval vessel was spotted in Belizean waters in the Sapodilla Keys range, not far from the Hunting Key forward operating base. On Thursday, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Francis Fonseca, spoke of the latest incursion into Belize's territorial waters by Guatemala and said such issues were brought up when he visited the OAS headquarters this week.
The Coast Guard responded to it immediately when they were notified about the presence of this a vessel. They responded to the site immediately. They got there, they identified it as a GAF vessel within Belizean waters. They followed established protocol. They went up to the vessel. They informed the crew on board who they were, and they advised them that they were in Belizean waters. They had a discussion, a short exchange, and the Coast Guard then escorted the GAF vessel out of Belizean waters. So that is what took place then. People have raised the issue, I know, about diplomatic notes and all of those things. Yes, we do send diplomatic notes. We have many diplomatic notes, but we go beyond that, right? We go beyond that. We have, just as I had in Washington, we had direct exchanges. I discussed the matter of the tensions in the Sarstoon with the Guatemalan foreign minister. We made it very clear to him our position. The Prime Minister has spoken to President Arevalo on more than one occasion about these matters. We have had exchanges between our Minister of Defense and the Guatemalan Minister of Defense on these issues. So we take these matters very seriously.
Fonseca said the government is concerned about the vessel being of a larger variety. He also said that he's grateful the incident didn't spark a confrontation.
Yes, we are concerned about that. And let me add that, we raise this issue as well with the group of friends. So we make these things known in front of Guatemala, and we outline our concerns about the types of vessels we are seeing in Belizean waters. So yes, we are concerned about that. And I can say that in about 2 weeks' time, we'll have a meeting between our Defense Ministry and the Guatemalan Defense Ministry to discuss these activities. Generally, they give the same excuse each time, which is that they've lost their way and they didn't know where they were, that sort of thing. So the good news is that there was no tension. They did not resist. They followed the instructions of our Belize Coast Guard, and they were escorted out of our Belizean waters.
Many of Belize's government offices are housed in spaces that the government rents to the tune of millions of dollars per year. Honorable Francis Fonseca admitted that this is a serious issue. However, he said the government would need to invest in building a government complex and more public buildings across the country.
Yeah, a better solution can be found, but we have to invest. It will cost money. We need to build more public buildings. We need to build a government complex again. So it's an issue that we've been talking about in Belize for decades. How do we invest more in public spaces, public buildings? It's costing, as you all know, millions of dollars every year to rent these facilities. So it's an ongoing challenge. It's an ongoing challenge. But I know it's something that we've discussed in cabinet. And I know that the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Public Service have been working on it to review these contracts. Many of them we inherited, we're continuing with them. But there's no substitute for having your own your own buildings, your own ministries, your own spaces. So, it's something that I know we're taking very seriously and looking at.
At the beginning of this month, the World Health Organization launched a bold initiative calling on countries to impose a health tax on tobacco, alcohol, and sugary drinks of at least 50% by 2035, so as to substantially increase the product prices and generate critical public revenue. This week, Dr. Melissa Musa, the Director of Public Health and Wellness, revealed that so far, they have held one meeting with PAHO on that subject. However, she shared that such taxation would require significant consultation, and their intention is to first work on other ways of reducing the desire for such products.
We have recently completed our tobacco bill. In the bill, although taxes have been discussed, it's not a part of the bill at this time. What we want to do is we want to control the things that are in our control, reducing the way that it's marketed, doing health education campaigns about the problems that tobacco causes on health. So we're looking at these areas before taxes, because as you know, that would need significant consultation over the next few months before. It's not a unilateral decision. It's not a decision just for the Ministry of Health. So we are trying to look at the things that we can do to reduce sugary sweetened beverages. As I'd explained to you, with the Ministry of Education, the Healthy Schools, that's looking at a gradual ban of sugar sweetened beverages in our schools. So we're trying to ensure that we can cause some kind of impact, behavioral change, and reduce persons wanting these sugar sweetened beverages or cigarettes, and ways to help with the counseling and help to reduce any kind of that, not stigma, but to reduce them, that urge to drink alcohol excessively, to smoke cigarettes, because it's not just about, like I'd mentioned, not just about saying don't do it, but finding out why and looking to try to solve this by looking at the reasons why young people are going towards alcohol and drugs.
After the break, 16-month-old baby dies in care of a babysitter, and Maya land rights case deadlines have to be pushed back. Stay with us.
Get ready for the Igbo Town Festival 2025. The National Celebrations Commission, in collaboration with the Belize City Council and the National Institute of Culture and History, invites you to the annual Igbo Town Festival 2025. Join us after the official Emancipation Day ceremony on Friday, August 1st at the Isaiah Mortar Square, Albert Street West, from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Bring out the entire family for a day filled with live entertainment, cultural displays and handicrafts, an educational emancipation tour, plenty of food and drinks, a free kids zone featuring face painting, cotton candy, snow cones, bouncy house and trampoline, and more. Want to be a part of the action? Secure your booth space today by calling 280-2308 extension 263 or message us on WhatsApp at 673-9055. So mark your calendars, Friday, August 1st from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the Isaiah Mortar Square. Let's celebrate freedom, culture, and community together. See you there.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale. always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Tired of appliances that just don't last? Appliances that just can't keep up? It's time for a change. GE Appliances delivers reliability, innovation, and performance you can trust. The decision is easy. Don't settle for less. Choose quality, choose reliability, choose GE.
Sea una persona ocupada o atrapada en el tráfico, o que tenga una circunstancia adversa o muy exigente, la tensión se acumula y lo estresa. El estrés ataca a todos en cualquier momento, a cualquier edad. El estrés es un asesino. Es mejor estar vivo que muerto, así que visite la farmacia de Freetown para obtener opciones.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué puedo hacer para usted hoy?
Estoy bien estresado.
Ok, tengo una pastilla que te va a ayudar, ¿ok? Que toma una de eso al día para 10 días y va a estar bien después, ¿sabes?
Ok. Farmacia Freetown, carretera 28 Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
Planning a trip to Belize? Here's how to complete your I Declare Arrival form in 5 easy steps. Step 1. Visit belizetravel.immigration.gov.bz. Step 2. Select the appropriate forms for arrivals. Choose Arriving to Belize. Step 3. Provide your origin trip details, including your departure airport and country of residence. Step 4. Carefully complete the immigration form. Add dependents if necessary, declare baggage, currency, and merchandise, and confirm your entries are correct. Step 5. Download your completed form and take a screenshot of your QR code and reference ID to present to the immigration officer. Thank you for using Belize iTravel. Safe journey.
The Caribbean Court of Justice held a monitoring hearing on the Maya land rights case this morning as a deadline for compliance with the 2015 consent order looms near. The court at the beginning addressed some of the challenges that remain and some positive developments. Among the latter, the president of the CCJ, Honorable Winston Anderson, welcomed the active engagement of new Indigenous Peoples Affairs Minister Dr. Louis Zabane and CEO Chester Williams. There was also a recent meeting between the appellants and the respective cabinet subcommittee. The minister also met third-party landowners on July 16 to share the draft Maya customary land tenure policy as directed by the court. Notably, the new minister appears to be setting a different direction in the matter regarding the policy. Here is the government's attorney's senior counsel, Andrew Marshallek, who reported that deadlines that had been set for the circulation of the final draft of the policy have to be pushed back.
As I understand it, there were visits by the new minister with the respondents and others. The respondents expressed dissatisfaction with the draft policy and requested that it be revisited in a fundamental ways. They indicated that they considered, as I understand it, that they considered that more important than rushing to legislation. I believe the minister is committed to revisiting it, and unless and until there is that revisit and approval, we can't proceed with the draft legislation or the rest of it. They're reopening a broad suite of issues, some of which will not be new to us. I would say the revisit is fairly substantial. As I said, the new minister has been getting his feet wet, and he has met with the parties and decided how he would prefer to proceed. So he's making those proposals to cabinet. Of course, a substantial part of that policy was already considered and approved by cabinet. So if it's to be revisited in a substantial way, the issues will need to go back to cabinet for reconsideration.
Leslie Mendez, attorney for the appellants, shared that for the last 2 years, there has been a fundamental disagreement with the government regarding the methodology to be used to determine where Maya lands are.
Our position is, Your Honor, is that throughout these now nearing 10 years, the parties have developed in some detail and informed by international standards the delimitation principles and methodology. That was a methodology that was agreed upon and that the communities have been implementing. We set out the process, Your Honor, that is involved in demarcating. It's a village-led process, and there is room for later on for the government to then come in and verify, Your Honor. In the policy as it stands, the provisionally approved policy, I understand that the circular scheme, as we had been calling it, has been abandoned, but there's a still predetermined, there's a still a sort of formula that has been applied with respect to identifying where Maya lands is, and that is by 5 acres, depending on the population. That's as I understand it, Your Honor. Again, our position is that is not being informed by actual use and occupation of the communities. We don't agree that the communities that the exercise that we're engaged in right now should be in the form of an adjudicative process where now the community has to come in and prove 30 years long occupation, which is the other criteria that has been put forward by the government. We believe that it should be more jointly and identifying where lands are being used right now in accordance with Maya customary law.
Mendez reported that in their meeting with the minister, they simply set out what currently exists in the delimitation methodology document, but also invited dialogue to improve the joint document. We'll have more on the monitoring hearing in subsequent stories. A mother in Georgetown Village, Stan Creek, is mourning the unexpected death of her 16-month-old baby on Wednesday. 21-year-old Laruni Castillo reported to police that she left for work around 5 a.m. and when she returned around 4 p.m., she found the baby unresponsive. The child had been left in the care of Nikia Cancillo, an 18-year-old neighbor who is also a babysitter. According to Castillo, the babysitter reported that around 1:30 p.m. she fed the child rice and gave her a bottle of chocolate milk before putting her to bed. Approximately 2 hours later, she found the child lying in vomit. Upon checking, she realized the child was unresponsive. Police are now investigating. Belize last saw a spike of severe dengue cases in 2019. The entire region was reporting increases in dengue cases, but for Belize, the increase in severe cases was putting a strain on the country's healthcare system. To treat severe cases, oftentimes blood products are prescribed, particularly platelets, which are not always readily available. Chief Vector Control Officer Kim Bautista said that while severe cases are still low, the healthcare system is now more robust when compared to 2019.
It was 2019 was the first record-breaking year for dengue in the region of Central America and the Caribbean. I think that year the region saw like over 3 million cases. That record was broken in, I believe, in 2023. There were like over 5 million cases in the region. But it was in the 2019 outbreak, I believe, where there were a high level of severe cases. And at that point, you did see a lot of appeal for blood donors. And as you rightfully point out, it's always there are certain periods of the year when you would tend to see these requests there. I think over the past year or so, the blood bank have been really ramping up their blood drives. I am pretty sure they've done a couple that I've seen for this year. And some regions more than other, like Belize City and the Cayo district, are always they get quite a bit of donors, so they always have a high stock. And of course, depending on where it is required, then they would be able to send blood to that area. The challenge always is that you receive blood, but then you have to replace, and so you will have to find a donor, and I think that is where it is always difficult, as you point out, to get blood donors.
In political news, attorney and former Belize City Mayor Darrell Bradley is among the few individuals whose names have been thrown around as potential leaders for the United Democratic Party. Appearing on Jules Vasquez's Uncut this week, Bradley spoke about the apparently entrenched division within his party, which continues beyond the last general elections.
Now is the time for change. Now is the time that, you know what, it's happened for over a year. It's too much time for you cannot get it together. And so if you can't get it together, we need other people who can do that.
Okay, so then, let us call names. Cheyenne Barrow.
Yes.
Should Cheyenne Barrow still be in the picture? He famously came in third in the Mesopotamia constituency. Should he still be leader of the UDP as he is tonight?
I think from a United Democratic standpoint, he can't be. And the reason why I would say
he cannot be.
He cannot be. And you want a leader, and we have to be honest, you want a leader that can galvanize people and that can unify individuals. And we have seen a situation where, for example, I can't fight a certain fight if people are not behind me. Leadership is about the ability to bring people together. You have to not only bring UDP together, but you have to bring independent voters together if you want to win. And we cannot have this level of divisiveness. One of the things that you need to have is that you need to have a leader that can stand up tomorrow and say, will the people of the United Democratic Party rally behind me? And if the people of the United Democratic Party will not rally behind you in a unified way, then you need to step aside for somebody who can galvanize the forces of the United Democratic Party. You cannot have a situation where you have a leader that cannot galvanize the majority support of either people in a political party or people in a nation. That's by basic terms the definition of democracy.
Bradley was also asked to share his opinion on a Tracy Panton leadership and whether she has the capacity to galvanize support.
I like Tracy, and one of the things that I'm very much watching this situation, because I'm looking at her and I'm looking at the way how she will emerge and perhaps galvanize people in a way.
She's failed to do so.
This is what I'm saying.
In the months since.
But this is what I'm saying. So this is, you talk about personalities and you talk about a Manuel Esquivel. We knew those times. I'm a little bit younger than you, but in terms of when you saw Manuel Esquivel giving a speech, when you saw those kind, it is clear that that person was the leader. If you are in a room with Dean Barrow, it is obvious that that person is the leader. When you are a leader and aspiring or the leader of a political party or a country, you have to have a certain command of the people who are around you. If you are the leader, that is the situation. And the fact that you have so many squabbles and issues and these things going on, the fact that over a year we can't get it together would suggest to me that you're not effective in terms of the level of strength that we need to really position the United Democratic Party as a viable candidate for government going into the next election. That should not take a leader so long to do.
What is the conclusion that we arrive at? Is Tracy the way forward for the UDP?
I would honestly say that at this moment, because I'm watching it very closely, I've watched it for the period that you have watched it, probably not as intently that you have watched it, but I'm saying that that assessment, in all honesty, is too early to make. We are many years away from an election, and I have seen...
UDP just got blown out in the village councils.
I have seen elections where the United Democratic Party has been decimated months before the elections, and they get it together and they form the next government. So I remember Dean Barrow, many people, any leader playing in politics. And so that to me is a red herring. And what I want to do is I want to look at an assessment as to who is really around the Honorable Tracy Tager, who is being the advisor, because a leader too, again, is not one person. It's a team of...
And while Bradley did not allow himself to be dragged into saying he would vie for leadership, he did indicate that if he were to run again, it would still be in Caribbean shores. Bradley is pursuing a doctorate in political science at the University of York in Toronto, Canada. After the break, 8 members of NEMO's operations team obtained post-grad diploma. Stay tuned.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Every moment matter with your credit card. More transactions, more chances to win cash back. You can be one of 4 monthly winners. Get a chance to win cash back with every purchase of $100 or more. For more information, visit www.atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
The hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? Get the essentials you need to stay safe this hurricane season, such as plywood, tarp and rope, first aid kit, rubber boots, raincoats and rain ponchos, generator, portable radio and batteries, flashlight and kerosene lanterns. Weather the storm with these products and more from Benny's. Quality and savings.
Over the weekend, 8 members of the operational team of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, were among over 30 students from Galen University who graduated with a postgraduate diploma in disaster risk management. It marked Galen's first cohort for the one-year program. Among the graduates were employees of other government ministries and departments, the BDF and PACT. The Ministry of Disaster Risk Management, led by Minister Henry Usher, described it as a milestone achievement in its ongoing efforts to strengthen national capacity and resilience. Through the program, they have enhanced their technical expertise to respond effectively to national emergencies. Among the graduates from NEMO are district coordinators Cassandra Jones and Vanessa Param, Assistant District Coordinator Ulysses Guy, Training Officer Renice Gillett, Humanitarian Officer Brenda Briseño, Operations Officer Patricia Zib, and Assistant GIS Officer Monica Coe. One of the NEMO personnel, Monica Coe, graduated with the second highest grade in the group. Keynote speaker for the ceremony was retired Captain Daniel Mendez, who is Belize's National Emergency Coordinator.
Disaster risk reduction is not easy, and for those NEMO students who work with me know that this is true. They can attest that we continuously face many challenges, so not just financial, but structural, lack of commitment, etc., and we can list them down the line. I am sure that you also face these in your own organizations. So I will continue to stress to you that the only way we can truly achieve the goals of disaster risk reduction is by working together by embracing comprehensive disaster risk management. Prior to this course, the number of professionals with academic degrees in disaster management could be counted on one hand, and literally literally less than 5. This has now increased in my uninformed mathematical formula by 800%. Is that correct, Mr. Duhaney? So we've gone from 5 to 40. That's 800% increase. We have added over 40 research papers in this field examining all sectors of society. Before this, research was sparse, and you fully know this as you were doing your research, trying to find things on Belize and can't find anything. So your work will now make the life of future students much easier. So we have been able to do this locally, using local instructors, using local knowledge to create a body of work exclusively for and by Belizeans. So let us be proud of this achievement. For the first time, we have analyzed hazards, contributed to the development of DRR policy, and have engaged communities in preparedness in Belize, led by you, Belizean students.
Galen's provost, Dr. Eve Aird, shared how the program came about in collaboration with UNICEF.
In 2024, we, along with the other local universities, signed a declaration of intent with the UN Country Office to work together with the UN agencies in Belize towards accomplishing the 17 SDGs by 2030. This disaster risk management program is a significant step towards this bold goal in that it builds our resilience and capacity to combat climate change and its impact. In fact, we at Galen are so committed to this that we will soon offer a course called Introduction to Disaster Risk Management as a social science elective. As I have heard Mr. Duhaney say, and Mr. Mendez, disaster risk management is not only NEMO's or GOB's business. It is for all of us in our homes, in our primary and secondary school classrooms, in our offices. We must all be enabled to combat climate change and mitigate its impact. And we at Galen will do our part. A few Saturdays ago, I had the privilege of spending a day sitting in on about 20 presentations of your capstone projects, and was impressed by their depth and relevance to your communities, and that they sought to mitigate the impact of disasters upon institutions and the communities. Having been a teacher-educator, a high school teacher, and a principal, I was especially impressed by the plans that address disaster preparedness for schools, and that a dozen teachers and a couple education officers enrolled in the program. In my mind's eye, I can see you teaching your students, for those of you who teach, about climate change and how it is impacting them and what they can do in their very own communities, in their homes, to combat it.
In police news, a retired American national, 63-year-old David Michael Gray, reported to police that on Thursday, July 24, at around 9 a.m., while feeding his chickens, 3 men invaded his property. One of the men, who was armed with a gun, forced him into the house where he was tied up. The men demanded money, and fearing for his life, Gray gave them the password to his safe. They took an undisclosed amount of money, a gray 2022 Toyota Hilux, and assorted tools, all valued at approximately $115,377 Belize dollars. Police are investigating. Here in Belize City, police are investigating a report of aggravated burglary made by a 32-year-old woman from the Kings Park area. She reported that on returning home Thursday morning just after midnight, a male individual followed her inside, punched her in the head, and attempted to rape her. She says she managed to escape and ran for help. In other news, back in 2012, when the world was fascinated with the Mayan calendar and wondered if its end in December of that year signaled the end of the world itself, Belize reached an agreement with the Science Museum of Minnesota to showcase some 150 Mayan artifacts. For over 12 years, the artifacts were taken on a tour of 11 museums across the U.S. Each museum paid for the right to display the artifacts, some $50,000 each, which, according to Honorable Francis Fonseca, went into a fund at the Institute of Archaeology. Fonseca said they are looking into making more of these agreements. He also said it is still a goal of the Briceño administration to create an appropriate space to adequately display these artifacts and others like it.
We're trying to do more of that. We're engaging and collaborating. As you know, NICH has a long history, the Institute of Archaeology in particular, has a long history of collaboration with universities, primarily in North America. But that's the whole idea of trying to gain knowledge, experience, support. They helped over the 12 years to preserve some of these artifacts. So that's a benefit to Belize. But of course, we want, as I said, our primary mandate is public education. We want to share these artifacts with the people of Belize, especially our young people. They've been out there for a long time, so it's good to have them back home so that we can put them on display, which we will be doing in a few weeks' time upstairs, so that the Belizean people can come and see these artifacts, many of which they have not seen before. I think that's one of the stated goals and objectives of the government and of NICH, to get a proper facility for storage of these items. So when we talk about, as you rightly say, when we talk about repatriation, which has to be something we're serious about, we have to understand that we need space for these things. So it's nice and romantic to talk about repatriation, but we have to put in place the structures, the infrastructure to properly support the preservation of these items. So yes, no disagreement, I fully agree with you. But we are working on that as a government. It's a stated goal and objective. As you said, it's been talked about for a long time. But we hope to get that done, certainly over the next 5 years. That's something we would want to invest in.
In Washington, D.C. this week, Honorable Francis Fonseca visited the headquarters of the Organization of American States, OAS, where the father of the nation, the Right Honorable George Cato Price, received continental distinction. A bust of Price was unveiled in the Hall of Heroines and Heroes of the Americas. Fonseca spoke of the magnitude of this honor.
We unveiled with the Secretary General of the OAS a bust of George Price in the Hall of the Heroines and Heroes of the Americas. Very proud moment for Belize, in my view. We're only the third CARICOM country to have our national hero or father of the nation displayed in those halls. So a very proud moment for Belize. We had quite a few people from the Belizean community there in DC there to witness it. So I think that was incredibly important, recognizing the contribution that George Price made, not only to Belize, but as a statesman to the region, to the hemisphere.
Turning to the north this week, the Village Council of Calcutta Corozal held their annual summer camp for kids 5 years and older from their village and neighboring villages at the Calcutta Government School. Some 87 kids participated this year in the camp, which featured academics, reading, improvement, social skills, and promoting healthy habits. Calcutta Chairperson Alex Zob spoke more about the camp.
We have saw Miss Chan, who teaches the kids how to play music, different kind of instrument that she knows, because she's a teacher. She's a teacher for teaching the all kinds of instruments. And also we had people from fire department, personnel, police officers, fire personnel from Rosal teaches how to the name of the parts of the suit that the firemen use. So we also had a person from the police department that teaches kids about the violence. What is violence? So certain things like that. So today's activity that will be concluded for the week will be a Shutakan classes that will be conducted by Mr. Mosiah. That will be commenced at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So that will be the last program we'll be having, and that will be closing off for the day. But for this morning, we'll be having funds play games with the student, the kids. Then at midday, everybody will be gathered around the table for lunch. No? We went up to 87 kids. We try to involve kids from the neighboring village, like Carolina and San Joaquin, mostly because we are those two villages are our neighboring village.
Zob explained that the camp is a community initiative and that many from the village and even neighboring villages contribute in order for the camp to be held each year.
It's a successful summer camp that was gained by our villagers, by our villagers, with stakeholders. Through our community, we been able to accomplish this summer camp throughout this week until today. We were sponsored by our villagers. I give thanks to them, and also to our local manager here. He gave us permission to use all the chairs, the chalkboards that we needed, and also the principal of the government school, which is Miss Virginia Eck. I really applaud for their help. And we get help, and also we get help from the Shaibi chairperson. He donated the tent for us for today's activity, the tables, the chairs, the business community, the stores the community store that we have here in Calcutta, and the other smaller business. They supported us, Mr. Innes, that they own the stores. They provided us every day with water for the kids. I applaud them for that, for the support, give us full support towards the summer camp for the kids.
And this Saturday, the Calcutta Village Council and residents will begin a fundraising campaign to help finance their upcoming September celebrations activities. Chairperson Alex Zob is inviting residents and passers-by to stop by the Calcutta Community Center this Saturday to purchase barbecue. Zub said the campaign will help fund their big Independence Day parade, which will see the participation of Calcutta Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Pathfinders, Calcutta SDA Primary School, Calcutta Government School, and Belize Adventist College and Junior College. Zub said this year the community is also organizing a dance group.
We start to raise funds this Saturday because Calcutta is a village that have 2 primary school, college, and a 6th farm. So what this village do is that we have a village parade that includes the schools, the high schools, and the 6th farm. So usually we do parades, and we will be starting raise funds this coming Saturday. Saturday we'll be having a barbecue sale right in front of the community center. I invite the community, and not only the community, but people all over. I invite them to support us by buying a plate or support. It's going to be $10 a plate of barbecue with tortilla rice or rice. You make your choice. It'll be $10, and invite everybody to have celebrate a good 21st. You know, we'll be having a marching group that will be conducted by the student of the government school, the primary government school. So we will be having a dancing group that will be led by Miss Williams, Adeline Williams. She'll be in charge of it. She'll be teaching the dancing part. She'll be in charge of sewing the costume. You know? So I really applaud her for that. I bring her up. Thanks for her help. You know?
And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again Monday at midday. Join us again Monday for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize. And you can watch the evening news live on our XTV BHNI app. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend.